So you're dreaming of studying in Italy, but that whole visa process, it just looks like a giant mountain of paperwork, right? Well, don't worry. In the next few minutes, we're going to give you the exact step-by-step map to get through it all, from the very first online form to that final, sweet approval. Let's break down the bureaucracy and get you on your way.
I mean, and who wouldn't be? You've got the history, the culture, the food, not to mention some world-class universities. It's an absolutely incredible dream to have. And today, we're going to turn that dream into a clear, totally actionable plan.
But yeah, before you're sipping an espresso next to the Colosseum, there is the paperwork. It can feel a little intimidating, I get it. But trust me, if you just prepare the right way, it is completely manageable. Getting this part right is the key to everything.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with your very first digital step, the Universali portal. Then, we'll dive into the super important financial proof, build out your complete visa application package, and we'll even look ahead to things like healthcare and scholarships. And then, we'll wrap it all up with the key takeaways you absolutely cannot forget.
Okay, first stop, the Universality portal. You got to think of this as the official starting line for the entire visa process. You have to get this right.
So what is this thing exactly? Well, think of Universali as kind of the digital middleman. It's the official government website where you basically raise your hand and say, hey, I intend to enroll. And it's how your university talks to your local Italian embassy to give them the green light for your visa.
And this homepage right here, this is where it all begins. The very first thing you're going to do is register for an account. And here is a crucial tip right off the bat. Make sure the name you use to register matches your passport exactly, to the letter.
Okay, now listen closely, because this is probably the single most important thing I'm going to say in this section. Do not, I repeat, do not start your Universali application until you have that official pre-acceptance letter from your university in your hands. If you try to do it without this letter, it will just completely jam up the whole process. It's the one key that unlocks everything else.
Now, the process on the site itself is actually pretty straightforward. You'll register, you'll start the application, and you'll fill in all your details. Personal info, passport, and this is important, which embassy you'll be applying at. Then you upload your documents, hit submit, and you wait. Your university has to validate it, and then they forward that validation to the embassy. So what exactly are you uploading? Your passport, your degree, your transcripts, all pretty standard stuff. But here is a pro tip that could honestly save you weeks of delays. That pre-acceptance letter, upload it as its own separate file. Don't bury it in one big PDF with everything else. The university staff are looking for that one specific document, and if they can't find it easily, your application could just sit there. Make it easy for them.
All right, we've now reached what is truly the make or break step of this whole thing, proving you can actually afford to support yourself. You get this right, you're golden. You get it wrong, well, it's the #1 reason people get rejected.
And here it is, the magic number. The Italian government requires you to prove that you have access to at least €6,947.33 for each academic year. It's a super specific amount, so you need to show that you have at least that much, though honestly, a little more is always better.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. This is a direct quote from a guide for international students. They see it all the time. Getting your financial proof in order isn't just important, it is everything.
So, how do you prove it? Well, you've got two main options. If you're using your own money, it has to be in a personal bank account, and you're going to need statements for the last 6 to 12 months. If you have a sponsor, like your parents, you'll need their long-term bank statements plus a notarized affidavit of support. That's just a fancy legal document where they promise to cover your costs.
And this brings us to a huge red flag for the consulates. If a big chunk of money just suddenly appears in your account right before your appointment, that looks really suspicious to them. They want to see a stable financial history over months, not a last-minute loan from a friend. That money needs to have been sitting there for a while.
Okay, so you've cleared Universali, you've got your finances all lined up. Now it's time to put together the final package of documents, your visa dossier, that you're going to take with you to your embassy appointment.
All right, this is your master checklist for the big day at the embassy. Let's run through it. First, the basics, your visa form, that Universali summary, and of course, those bank statements. Next, you have to show you're prepared. That means proof you have a place to live for at least the first month and medical insurance with at least €30,000 in coverage. You'll also need a one-way flight reservation and your language certificate. And finally, and this one's a big one, your academic documents need to be apostilled. That's just an official stamp that makes them valid internationally. You'll want to check how your local government handles this way in advance.
So, you get the visa, you land in Italy. Now what? Two big questions usually pop up right away. What do I do about healthcare, and are there any scholarships I can get? Let's break those down.
When it comes to healthcare, you've got two very different choices. First, there's the Italian National Health System, the SSN. For about €700 a year, you get your own family doctor and are treated just like any Italian citizen. The one kind of weird thing, it always expires on December 31st, no matter when you actually sign up. The other option is private insurance. It can look cheaper up front, but you have to be careful. Usually you have to pay for everything out of pocket and then get reimbursed, and you don't get that dedicated family doctor.
Now, for financial aid, the one you absolutely have to know about is the DSU scholarship. And this isn't just a little bit of money, this thing is a total game changer. It's a grant based on your family's income that can completely waive your tuition, give you free housing and meals, and even a stipend for other expenses. To keep it each year, you just have to prove your family's income is still eligible and, of course, keep your grades up.
Whew! We have covered a lot of ground. So let's just boil all of this down into the most critical, must-remember rules for a successful application.
Okay, if you remember nothing else from this, remember these golden rules. 1, get that acceptance letter before you do anything else. 2 and 3, get your finances perfect. That means long-term statements and no sudden big deposits. 4, that little trick of uploading your acceptance letter as its own file. 5, have your first month of housing and insurance booked and ready to show. And finally, number 6, every single embassy can have slightly different rules, so always check the website of your specific consulate. So there you have it. The path is laid out. The steps are clear. Yeah, it takes some organization and attention to detail, but thousands of students just like you get through this process every single year. The only question left is, are you ready to be one of them?